asked everyone what they want to see. We could do a Terra Talk Part 2 where we look at all the YouTube comments that were left on the first Terra Talk video. We could talk about the best redirection mons and then play some Series 14 rank. We're going to do all those live on stream today, but we're going to go take a look at some comments first and generally just talk about my thoughts on what I said, how people replied to me, and just generally have a more well thought out analysis discussion as opposed to me just talking and people leaving mean comments. You're back. Welcome. So let me pull up everything that we need to do this. We're going to be taking a look at the comments section from today's YouTube video where I uploaded my thoughts on Terra, where I said Terra is very similar to gems, where it's similar to hidden power and damage reduction berries. I got like a lot of people that were really, a lot of people agreed with me and a lot of people really didn't like what I had to say, and they left comments saying those things. So we're going to try our best as a community, everyone here, to look at any positives these people might have had, and if you all think that I'm like high on my own bullshit, like call me out. Like if you think that I'm not seeing what other people are saying, like call me out in the comments. Like I want to know if I'm the one that's being unfair. I want to know if I'm bringing my ego to this situation. So keep me honest. I won't get mad. But I think that it's worth talking about to have a general discussion about how good this mechanic's going to be, if it's going to be game breaking, if it's not going to be game breaking. Like, let me know. Again, we're talking about the Terra mechanic that was announced, being able to change your type to get an additional type or, gain like an additional stab on certain things. I feel a lot of the people said a bunch of stuff, and I'm not going to say, was that a sub? We got a sub from somebody. Appreciate it. More YouTube comment reading. Someone dropped a sub. Appreciate it. There we go. Viper right there. Thank you so much for the sub. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, let me know. But I think it's generally a good idea because, if these people are having these opinions, other people are having these opinions. And if I can actually word my opinions instead of just typing a comment, we can answer it to the masses. So hopefully it's a good thing. Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. And let me just send out some Discord notifications and we'll be good to go. I already sent them out because I'm the best. Okay, cool. Let's get into this. Ray made VGC. He made the whole offensive support dynamic. Goated. Yeah, he did. No, so, TPCI made VGC, but Ray Rizzo's the first person that created how VGC is played today. All right. So let's just take a look at this first comment. And you're going to see my replies to a bunch of these comments too, right? So again, feel free to call me out if you think I'm not giving these people the right replies. Just let me know. So Tater says, I think Terra will be more of a fun utility than a powerful gimmick like Dynamax. I think I prefer the simple stuff that isn't too gimmicky. This will be much more fun than Dynamax. And I think that's exactly the point that I was trying to make. It's going to be fun. It's not nearly as power. There's not as much power creep behind it. It's not too gimmicky, and it's going to be more fun. And I said, I think it's going to be a ton more fun, right? That's completely normal. This is a good comment, good person. I appreciate comments like this. It's great, base take, right? It's good. I think it's going to be more fun utility. It's the additional spice. Remember, I compared it to a sandwich, right? Which someone also have to comment saying sandwiches are the thing in the new region. And I compared it to a sandwich, which is funny. Remember, it's the seasoning, it's the cheese, it's the salt and pepper, not the meat and potatoes, right? So I think it's good. Terra Fire Magnet Pull Magnezone, I think, could be a great counter to Crown Zacian. Well, Zacian could still just Zacian's not going to be in the game, right? But then what if Zacian just protects for a turn and then Terra types defensively to lose its steal? Does that work? Wouldn't it work? Because then you wouldn't be magnet pulled. Or what if Zacian just transforms into something else that makes it so it takes neutral damage from fire, and then you did all your things with your Magnezone, and then Zacian just two-shots you with Sacred Sword. Anyways, any chance they'll take a sword away from Zacian? I think they're going to take the sword away from Zacian if they ever put it back in the game. So let's look at more comments. We have a lot of comments. So that's a really good point, bro. I think that past Megas, Z-moves, and Dynamax were pretty complex and awesome, and myself, as someone who loves competitive, understood them after a little practice in Sword. I think it's a Sword. A couple years late to the party. This is much more suitable mechanic for casual fans that I know from the Game Boy days of Ruby. The Pokemon Company is a genius. These games are going to make so much money. I feel like there's so much more hype than Sword and Shield was. And I said, I feel like there was a ton more hype for Sword and Shield. with it being the first main series game of the Switch, but I hope this game is still popular. Right? I agree. I agree with what they said. Like, I think this is a good mechanic going into the new game. It's a lot more user friendly. It gives newer players a lot of options to experiment with type defenses and type offenses and a bunch of cool stuff like that. I think it's a great mechanic. I do think though that Sword and Shield was more popular than Scarlet and Violet. That's another thing I wanted to like talk about. That's why I actually am going over this comment. Like, do you guys think there's more hype and more people excited for Sword and Shield or for Scarlet and Violet? Because I think there was more people excited for Sword and Shield. That's just me. Terra will, pun intended, be a blast, but it's not a game breaker. It creates opportunities, but it does for your opponents as well. I know, right? And that last part. That's correct. I play testing a server with Terastallize, and the gimmick was just something that helps you position in the game, not when you lose a game. Yeah, you guys are exactly on point. I think all these people that are like, you're going to see some crazy takes. That's right. Yo, thank you so much. You guys are going to see some crazy takes the further we get down into this list. And it's... these people, I want to know if I'm the weird one here, right? I want to know if I'm weird, but anyways. Alex Ortega says, I agree with you. It allows the Pokemon Company to have a new flashy mechanic while not having battles revolve completely around them, right? It's exactly true. It's great marketing, smart marketing, right? That's exactly how it works. This is a good take from the Pokemon Company because any Pokemon can be tarot. So they can sell, you know, Pikachu merch, flying Pikachu merch, surfing Pikachu merch, fire Pikachu merch. They can sell all those things, and it's just great for marketing. Right now, Sword and Shield, but I hope Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, I agree. I think that Sword and Shield had more hype going into it, but Scarlet and Violet should probably overtake it eventually. If you're wondering if the crazy one is you in the YouTube comment section, the answer is always the comment section. Okay, well, just let me know if I'm the one being the asshole then, because, like, they can still be crazy, but I can still be an asshole. Not going to say anything for a while. What? Someone you got hit with 7 ads. I don't play those. Like, I don't start the ads. It doesn't... I'm not in charge of that. Hate Twitch. Hate Bezos. I didn't do it. I didn't press a button. I did nothing. I'll wait for them for like 1 second and check Discord. I'll take a sip of my coffee. There's a lot less negativity for Violet Scarlet. Are people calling it verse? Got 1. I'm so sorry that even happened. Again, that's Daddy Amazon, you know? Anyways, let's check out what Mint says and check out my reply. So it says, thank you so much for addressing this. The focus should absolutely not be on the gimmick. These upcoming formats will be so different than Megas, Mega Evolution, Z-Moves, and G-Max. You can't stake your game plan on the back of this mechanic and expect a lucky breakaway, right? Yeah, so you can't lean and use this mechanic to give you wins you wouldn't normally strong enough to get. And that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. So let's go in. Trace always leaves absolutely amazing comments. They're probably one of the smartest people that leave comments in my comment section. I think they watch like almost all my stuff. Yo, Sora dropping the sub. They're like stupid ads. They're just dropping the sub to take it away. I'll put some subs up for that. I think that if you're subbed, you don't get ads on Twitch. I'll put some subs up for that. Yo, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate it. I do be appreciating that. It's absolutely amazing to see. And yeah, like I say, Trace leaves really, really good comments. A really, really good player. If they did make a Pokemon game that is multiplayer open world and not super buggy, it would be a very popular holiday release. I agree. It's going to be very popular. I just feel like Sword and Shield had more hype. Didn't even know you could get 7. I didn't know you could get 7 either. Like, we waited for you, my guy. We waited for you. we talked about ads and how dumb they are the whole time. I didn't set the ads. That's Twitch doing that stuff. You have to do a certain number of ads per hour. And Twitch just like they run them. I don't press a button and say like, now's when I'm gonna add them. I can do that, but I usually don't, right? So that's what it is. But yeah, yo, did a KHG dropping a sub as well. We're getting close to a hype train. We are getting close to the hype train, and I would love to get a hype train today, but it's a boost train. But either way, thank you so much. Can we put some subs up? I hope isn't as glitchy. Actually, so I don't want to give leaks or spoilers to people that aren't interested, but I do follow a couple leak Twitter accounts, and they were showing like updated versions of the game from people that like have it or stuff like that, and it looks way smoother and way less buggy. You know, like when they say like actual game footage not final, like they mean it. It looks really good. So that's a good sign. It's a good sign. But thank you so much. Yo, appreciate it. Appreciate people dropping the subs. If you guys want to see more YouTube comment readings like this, please let me know. So again, let's look at Trace's comment. I didn't know the base power of Hidden Power also used to be based on the Ivies. That's wild. I thought it was always 70 before being nerfed to 60. Now I'm pretty sure back in the old days, your Hidden Power is changed off all your Ivies. We talked a little bit about this. Let's read this comment first. First time in Twitch, but been supporting on YouTube since 2020. My favorite mon is Umbreon. Love the content. Thank you so much. Umbreon's going to be amazing. Probably the best evolution going into Scarlet and Violet, especially for doubles. I think Umbreon's going to be great, so expect to see a lot of Umbreon. Best of 3 will see so much Pocket Terra as well. Aim, win without Terra, and reveal in later sets. We're going to talk a little bit about best of 3 and competitive and Terra in just a little bit. You pre-ordered the double pack. Good idea. Good idea. Umbreon is dope. Yep. So yeah, all these kids with their free base 70. Yeah, so it used to be, so like let's say your Ivies were 31 in speed, 31 in special attack, and you're like, I'm going to use Hidden Power. Even if you could get the right Hidden Power, if all your other Ivies were like shit, like 13, 0, 12, 18, you'd have like a base 40 Hidden Power, right? Yeah, I remember the BS of having a base power 30 HP fighting. So that's a mechanic that I had to like make sure still worked after I said it. But yeah, like if you had shit Ivies, you had a shit Hidden Power. And it was even harder when there were mons like Roserade involved and Persian that were special attackers that used Technician. You had to like deliberately have shittier Ivies. Like harder to get shittier Ivies to get a base 60 Hidden Power to actually benefit from the Technician. It was lame, right? It was lame. So I'm glad Math Bandit remembers. It was such a pain to do that. Back when like you didn't have all the breeding tools we have now. Like people think like, oh, just spend an extra like 20 minutes breeding. It's like, no, it would take like days extra breeding to get the right Hidden Power for those mons. So they learned something new. Did Showdown add that? What do you mean? Showdown add the... What do you mean? Showdown didn't exist back then. It's also really bad for in-game since addition to testing HP type, you also had to try and figure out the power of it and see if it was worthwhile. Yeah, so the way that we had to do that back in the day, me and my roommates, was we would... Remember, there is no like ranked ladder. There is no online mode yet back in the day, like Gens 3, Gens 4, stuff like that. So you had to like battle your friends locally where it would set it to 50 and then you would go to like Cerebi and pull up what your stats are supposed to look like so you can check what your Ivies are. There wasn't like you couldn't just go into the game and check it and see like if you're best, not good, or whatever. That wasn't even like a thing. So yeah, we had to go like play other people and like test and just use a battle to see what our Ivies were. So and then you couldn't also take away like EVs or anything. It was so much harder back then. That type of back in the day, yeah, way back then. But yeah, let's keep on going. We got a lot of comments to look at. Again, if people want to comment on this video, leave their comments. The video itself is right here. Please leave a like. People are downvoting the shit out of it, so please leave a like. Let me know if there's any comments you guys want to leave or stuff like that. Yeah, if you messed up, you were done. Yep, and there were no like Mon battle or things like Showdown, so you had to write shit down on paper back in the day. All right, let's continue. Jack says, I'm glad that I can just focus on building a well-balanced team with Pokemon that can cover each other's weaknesses. Sword and Shield was all about building around Dynamax, at least in my experience, and I'm looking forward to the more standard formats Scarlet and Violet should bring. It's an amazing comment. Like, that's how you should be looking at this format. That's how you should be looking at every format. I think my reply was like, same here, that's the idea. I had to get a lot of comments. I can't go super in depth, but like basically, that's how you should be looking at this new mechanic. And for people, I think a lot of people took what I said seriously. We're going to get into some pretty terrible ones, pretty terrible takes, I think. I think I thrive the hardest in a non-Dynamax format. I feel so too. I really like BDSP. Everyone's like, I wish I had a format with no gimmicks. And I was like, BDSP exists. You could play singles or doubles right now. I'll be sure to check out the video. Appreciate it. I wish EVs were skill points that you could distribute manually. I mean, same. But they kind of are. You know, like, you just have to get them. You'd have to KO the right mons. BSB and Spike Smooth are amazing. Yeah, I think they're good formats. So, here we go. Let's take a look at this. Let's give them this. So, this feels like a swing and a miss. Everything I've seen, this will be a huge change. This won't be a gimmick based around a single mon. Instead, you'll have weak resistant Pokemon viable. It's going to allow good Pokemon with bad typings introduced in the meta. You now have a team where Terastallize each mon can be used. This will be a big competitive shakeup compared to the last 3 gens. So this is where I want you guys to call me out if I'm the one being an asshole. Let me know. Let me answer Vikings' comment here. Off topic here, if I upload my EV Squad V2, would you consider playing it or not bother? No, I'll definitely play it. I have like nothing to use for the rest of this week and next week. So if you make a EV team, I'll use it tomorrow. I'll use it tomorrow. If it's that one you were showing me, I liked that team. That team was cool. Wish people played more doubles on BDSP. I wish try to get some practice here and there. It's a good one. It's a good one. So let's see if I'm being the asshole here. I say, I'm curious what you say to this reply. I've seen a couple people pop up with similar replies as yours and have given them this reply. So this is one thing that I talked about heavily. And this can be applied to like any Pokemon format, right? So they said that like this is going to be a huge change because it makes weak resistant Pokemon viable, allowing good Pokemon with bad typings to be introduced in the meta. And to that I said, sure, the bad Mons get a boost, but so do the good Mons. Why would I use a Mon or team that needs Terra to be used when I could just use one that's already good and gets better with Terra? So the thing is, like, so if we both have Terra and you have to use yours to get to my level, I still have it. That's not a situation you should like be excited to be in. Right? Am I wrong? Like, it's just resource management. That's how I feel. And then again, if you think I'm being like, oh, well, that's really cold. That's like shutting down creativity. It's like super toxic. Like, let me know. But I really think that like this is resource management 101. Case in point, Incineroar. There's plenty of other good Intimidate users, and there's plenty of other good Fake Out users. But like, why would I use them if I have Incineroar? And I do use the other ones. Like, but like, let's talk about, like, Scrafty does not see play, right? It does not see play. It gets Fake Out, it gets Intimidate. It even has, like, good aggressive, like, typing. Like, fighting can be good typing. Like, it doesn't have the same ground weaknesses in Incineroar, it doesn't have the rocks weakness. It's a cool Mon. I've used it in the past. And it has, like, Drain Punch. It's cool. But then, like, right? It's just resource management. It sounds like they're just excited to use Pokemon that aren't normally viable. And again, I don't want to just shut them down and say, like, get good, scrub. Like, if you want to, I want people to, like, find new and creative ways to be good. But I don't know, you know? Daleon, does anyone know if Ditto can transform in a Terraform or from leaks? I don't know if Ditto's in the game yet. I don't know if it's actually been confirmed. You're totally allowed to use a variety, but you say it's going to be like a huge change, but like, I don't know. It's kind of like saying that items make a certain Pokemon better. It can make all Pokemon better. All Pokemon are not made the same. Yeah. Terra isn't just a buff though. You also get nerfs defensively depending on the Terra type, so bad Mons hindered with their typing get boosted, but good Mons with good types make themselves vulnerable to more weaknesses. Okay, I get it. Let's continue to see what we like talked about. Because again, I'm trying to create a discussion here. They say, it'll be more of a game of chess. They can Terastallize, powering their Mon up. You can proactively, have the Mon you have Terastallize cover said weakness. It's not a catch-all, but used aggressively or defensively in the same respect. You can go all in on a 4x stab and then immune from the defensive setup. It's not as impactful as Mega or Dynamax, but it'll add another angle to team building and what you can choose in a competition, which is why, oh man, I can't even read yet. It's so early. Which is why I say it actually offers more than in the previous gens. Like I don't see a staple meta. Yeah, I don't see a staple meta like previous gens, rather a meta that's consistently changing. I think this is a really good take from them. And so this is them, like glass half full, looking at all the good things it adds. And I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I hope that it turns into something like that, but I just don't. We're going to talk a little bit about why this perfect world that they're hoping for won't happen in just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because like there's some elephants in the room that people aren't talking about that we're going to go over in just a little bit. Just guessing, but I will go with Poison Terra for Umbreon. I think it will buff it like that. I think that's a good Terra type. That's a good defensive type. It's pretty good. I think that's fair. My question is, are you only coming at it from a purely competitive view? That could be the difference between the comments. You are 100% correct. I am coming at this from the position of someone that goes to regional championships to win. That's like, that is the position. But also, again, I want to say this, like, my channel, if you look at the description of my channel, it says, like, learn how to play, like, competitive Pokemon for use in, like, regional championships, masters level tournament play. That's, like, what the description of my channel is. So, on YouTube. So, I mean, I think that that's a fair take from me as someone whose job it is to do well with these events. But you are 100% correct. Yeah, I think people that are just playing the game for fun or want to have a good time with their favorites, that just want to beat the game, like, it's great. I think you're perfectly allowed to like this, like the mechanic, but then like, how'd you find my video at like 5 in the morning, you know? Let's see. There's some Pokemon with amazing stats and typing, but they don't have the stab moves to be incredible. I agree. So I can sip my coffee and we'll continue the thing. This person's going to pop up a lot with the same exact comment, and we're going to talk to them in a little bit. This person's going to come up, and we're going to talk about them in a bit. Meanwhile, a mon like Quagsire can be used as Terra, Fire, Decimate grass types. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Quag's going to be crazy. Anyways, so this person says, Scizor, Technician, Stab Steel, Terra Steel, Choice Man, Bullet Punch. That's one random example, but I think priority users will have a specific niche above what they used to, which is not wrong. Priority users are amazing at the start of every single format because people are going to be understanding the format. It's not uncommon for things like Azumarill and Scizor, and even like Lucario and Arcanine to some extent, to be massively, massively good at the start of a gen. Happened in 2014, happened in 2017. Like, that's super normal. Says, sure you are correct, Scizor was good before, but it'll be better now. It is something to play plan around now. You must be prepared for the rain boosted water stab, Terra Aqua Jets, Fire Stab, Fire Terra Eruptions. Saying these won't matter seems really silly to me. I mean, did they watch my video? Right? Like, the video title was like, why Terra won't matter. That was the title of the video. Actually, if you think that I'm just being an asshole to title my video for clickbait, I'll let you know YouTube Analytics tells you to make a fusion of your like top 10 people in your niche. That basically YouTube Analytics like generated that title for me, and the video's doing really well. Surprising. Oh, it's all run by bots. So anyways, but I don't think it's going to matter that much, and it shouldn't matter when you're team building as much. It shouldn't really be the meat and potatoes of your team, like I said in my video. You should make a really, really good team, and then think after you've already built it, what Terra types you can add to give it an extra flavor. And the reason why I didn't reply to this guy right here is because we're going to talk to him later, and this is his reply to someone else. I'm not going to butt into their conversation if I don't have to. This guy's also replying to them. He's doing that. He's like, you could Dynamax any Pokemon as well. Like, that's the thing. Like, this guy's saying, like, you got to be prepared for, like, all these other things. Like, you could Dynamax any Pokemon as well, you know? Let's see, I haven't read this one. Terra will be more fluid with offensive. Yeah, I think this absolutely jank person is, like, looking at it from the correct way as well. And they're open to a discussion. I think this person is not open to a discussion, which, like, that's their prerogative. Let's see. Anyways, so far, right? Arcanine was 60% of its usage in 2017. Not really for a priority, but it was an option. That was the thing. And we're taking a look at both singles and doubles. I don't know what format the competitive casually person plays, but we're looking at it as general Pokemon right now. And maybe I shouldn't do that because I said I was doing like super serious VGC regionals, but like we're also looking at it from a singles mindset. Like this moveset that they're talking about, this makes me think that they're a singles player just because like that's something that only is really good in singles. Like that loses to Sash, that loses to Redirection, that loses to different forms of Speed Control / Prankster Mons. Like that loses to so many different things. It loses to just good defensive typing. You can't one-shot something you can't one-shot. So, you know, I'm assuming they're a singles player because that's something that only really sees play in singles after hazards. That's just my opinion. Loses to abilities, loses to like double intimidate spam. There's so many things it loses to. I always look at things from VGC perspective because that's what Game Freak designs it for. I agree. I think there's nothing wrong with looking at a VGC perspective, but I just assume they were singles because that seems more like a singles mindset. Scizor is used in large part for its typing. I agree. Scizor is used large part for its typing. So, taking away steel type is dumb. I agree. Taking away steel type is dumb. They're talking about double stealing. They're talking about terrorizing into steel to get the double dip. So, the mechanics should be quick and simple with some depth. Terraforms, as I see it, are a perfect fit, which I 100% agree. It's going to be a good fit. Like, it's pretty simple, and that's it. Boss Dog also leaves really good comments. Saying, bro, I agree with you, man. It feels like the game is going to show who understands the game basics rather than who can one-shot people. So, again, the guy that up top that was like, I will one-shot you with all these things, like, the good players understand that, like, it's going to be more of like, okay, cool, you went all in with that one Pokemon in a doubles game, like, go nuts. You know, it doesn't really work that way. Glad to join the stream. What is the discussion about today? Right now we're talking about, I made a video talking about Terastallize, and, basically, it's not double steel type. You're getting a double dip on your steel typing. We're just talking about stuff that happened in the comments. Let's see. I wish the crown for Terra wasn't so big and loud. Loud. Normal size crown would have been much cooler. I never thought about it like that. All right. Tater again. Say, I wouldn't mind a non-gimmick game, go back to the old school and see how good people really are. You know? Play BDSP. Easy. Choice Band Scissor looking to be really funny until I send an Incineroar, right? Like, you could Terra to whatever the hell type you want. Like, you're still intimidated. You know? Trace another comment. So one big thing is we don't know if Terastallize goes away when you switch out, if it stays. I don't know. I could have swore I saw something saying it stayed. Mega's stayed. I don't see why this wouldn't stay, but that's just me. Scizor gets double stabbed. Yeah, it gets double stabbed. Do you think Terastallizing at the beginning towards the end of the match will be more common? I think everyone's going to do it near the start, but you never really know. You really never know. We do know that it stayed. Okay, cool. There we go. It stays. All right. So let's keep going here. Let me take another sip of my coffee because I'm blowing through this coffee, but there's still more comments. How big of a damage increase were gems? Because again, I compared it to gems and hidden power and damage reduction berries. I do agree it's built on the concept that have been done before, but I think it's it's executed differently. Like, of course, you get the extra damage with a Terra for every hit, but it's also interesting since HP can have more value in some cases. If you don't want to Terra a certain Pokemon. So I agree kind of with what they're saying. Like, they're talking about, like, they don't know how big gems were. Normal gem is 1.3, but back in the day, gems were 1.5. And so that was a significant boost. And you gotta remember, you could gem a type that you don't stab, that you just have, like, that you could put, like, an ice gem on, like, a Conkeldurr and go for a bigger ice punch. Or you could, like, dark gem your Scrafty, or water gem your Water Spout, or fire gem your Eruption and get the double stab, double dip. So you gotta remember, gems were way cooler than people remember. And if you didn't play that format, you wouldn't really know. Not sure if you answered this, which was your favorite gimmick. I like gems. Gems are my favorite gimmick, 100%. So let's keep going. Acid Fox. Fox Dye says, I've been ready to play a more normal format in the same, I'm even more excited. Same, so they're agreeing with us, right? Gems should return. I agree, gems should return. They were really, really cool. And then this is where we're going to get to the part, right, where eventually, let me know if I'm being the asshole. You guys gotta call me out of my bullshit, otherwise my ego is going to get too big. Will it be a thing to buy both games, or it doesn't really matter? You don't really need to buy both, but, like, as a content creator, I'm probably going to buy both because I like having two accounts to ladder with. This man just related the mechanics to a sandwich, bringing his explanation full circle with the sandwich feature in Scarlet and Violet, modern day Aristotle. I didn't even do that on purpose. I just was using, like, an analogy, like, it's the seasonings, the cheese, it's the additional flavor of the sandwich, not the meat. So, it's funny. I didn't even think about that. Terra Blast does come with your Pokemon when you Terra. Does it? I think it's a move that you just have. I think it actually takes a move slot, and if you don't Terra that Mon that game, you're just stuck with an 80 base power normal move. But again, I'm not 100% sure on that. Alright. So, this person says, I think the stronger the gimmick, the less varied will be the team. Of course, Terra gimmick will benefit more some Pokemon than others, but being less powerful will make the difference less important. So you may see more Pokemons, as this person may see more Pokemons. Not to mention, this will bring many good Pokemon to a format that normally wouldn't see because they're bad defensive type. I talked about this earlier. Same thing. I said, like, the bad Mons get the boost, but so do the good Mons. Why would I use a Mon that needs Terra to be used when I could use one that's already good and with Terra just gets better? So this person is jumping in the conversation. Their name is Lil Ralph. They say, the whole point of Terra meta is so it doesn't become stale like it eventually happens, or at least that's what it seems like they're trying. And so I agree the Pokemon Company is trying to make a meta that doesn't become as stale, but, like, it always happens. Metas do get figured out eventually, and there's nothing wrong with, like, a stable, balanced game. Like, do people not want this? Do people not want, like, usage stats? Correct usage stats? Like, even as someone who is, like, a really creative, like, anti-meta player like myself, I can't make those teams unless there is a stale meta. Like, you can't be anti-meta unless one exists. Like, I don't know. That's my opinion. Even as someone who doesn't really play meta, you need a meta to exist to counter it. So, I don't know. That's my opinion on that. Right? It's not a bad thing to have a stable meta or a stale meta. That's literally the game that we play. Like chess openings. Someone was talking about chess earlier. Like, if chess changed all the time, we wouldn't have like hundreds of years of like openings and analytics and things to know, and that's the game. That's literally the game. All right, this was a cool take. What I'm most excited about is terrorizing Pokemon to Ghost that know Curse. Remember, Curse, if you're not a Ghost type, gives you like an attack and defense boost and lowers your speed. But if you're a Ghost type, it puts a Curse in the opposing Pokemon that drains their HP at the cost of 50% of your HP. And then they're going to like Curse, Resto, Chesto, or Cycle. That's sick. I think that's a really cool, creative, fun way to use the mechanic. I think that's really, really fun. And I'm excited to try stuff like that myself. If you like half this comment section doesn't know the type suppression berries exist, right? Using Terra on Scizor and a Pure Steel is literally the same thing as giving it a Fire Berry. Thank you fucking God. Like, you know that meme, like like they're so close, right? And then it's like, that's one of the reasons why we're talking about this. Like, should it be my job to tell people that? Like, I'm trying to kind of tell people that now, but like, I want them to kind of figure it out. Like, they're so close, you know? It's like they're going so out of their way to not be like optimal, right? Someone got 5 ads, dude. Never lucky. Dude, Twitch sucks, man. I don't play them. I'm not playing them. I'm just sitting here talking. We gotta, dude. I'm about to give people subs. I'm about to pay for people to not be able to see ads. You know, it's funny. People think like as a streamer you can just give subs and earn the money back, and that doesn't work like that. Like if I were to give subs, Twitch would get like all the money. I wouldn't really get anything back. Yo, Sora gifting a sub. Yo. Trick is just leave and come back. Yo, dude, you got gifted a sub. So that's the trick right there. Easy peasy. If people know how to, turn those ad blockers on. Don't support. Thank you. Always say thank you. Appreciate it. You get a sub and you get a sub. Yo, appreciate it. Let's continue the talks. Let's see. THC Smash Bros. The Hog Crew says, it's not like Mega Zemus and Dynamax, yeah, but it's still game changing. Like imagine you build a team around T-Tar, you give it Ghost Terra, then you also need to cover the new weaknesses you will have after Terra. The team will not work if your team already is weak against, let's say, Dark. So when you Terra to Ghost, you need to build a team around the Terra Ghost T-Tar. But it's not that much a difference in a Mega format, yeah. So this person was kind of all over the place. I feel like they typed it really fast. And so, again, you can tell I've answered all of them. People say, like, big YouTubers don't answer all their comments. Like, I've answered all of them, you know? So, again, I'm trying my best to go as fast as I can. It's also like 5 in the morning when I'm doing this. So I read his thing and I was like, what I'm trying to say is don't build a streamer on one Pokemon in this format if you want to do well. This person spends the entire first half of his comment explaining how dumb it is to build around Ghost T-Tar and then says you need to build around Ghost T-Tar. Thank you. Me and you, man. We're too old for this shit. Yeah, right? Like, I didn't even know how to answer. I was like, just don't build around one Pokemon. You'll be good. And then we talk a little bit more. And again, I'm not trying to put anyone down. I love it when people answer comments. Like, please leave all the comments on my YouTube videos. It makes me happy to see them every morning. I don't want to come off as someone that's, like, salty that people are leaving comments on my channel. It's very disingenuous. I don't want to be that guy because I love reading them. And I love making these discussions like this. But then they say, like, of course, I understand the point, though. But, like, every gimmick is game-changing. Don't build the team around Terra. Build the team and adjust Terra. So, see, now that they've, like, settled down a bit, they have, like, actual ideas. But, like, changing the type creates some extra resistances and weaknesses. It's still game-changing, like, how you approach certain teams. Right? What were we saying? If it does, I'm out. For what? Would Agile Strong Style... Oh, Agile Strong Style is not going to be in the game. Like, no way. We would already know that. That'd already be something known. Imagine if you build your team around a Terramon and then end up with a bad team because of that. You will need to carefully build around a Terramon. That's basically what he said. Though in this format, you will see actual high-level VGC play because the other gimmicks you build the team around could carry you. Doing an unexpected Z move or Mega Evolve a Mon and delete the threat was so OP and can make you win games. Now being a good player will actually reward you more than other game-changing gimmicks we had. And I was like, I'm good. But, we're going to talk about this comment in a sec. We're going to find the real comment that I replied that to, and we'll come back. Are the Hisuian Pokemon in the game? They should be in the game, but, like, we don't know anything really about the extension of, like, how they're going to be in the game, how their stats or abilities work. So, let's see. Just a few days to the new game. Do you think it will enable people to use the team they like more And Terastallize will allow you to maneuver around a clear counter for your Pokemon in a way more teams will be viable without clear winners. And again, I posted that same thing. Like it's kind of just like having hidden power back with damage reduction berries. Good players have already gotten used to playing around not having those things. So like, for example, I could have just copy pasted the same thing I said, like, instead of making bad Pokemon good, it makes all Pokemon good, so realistically people are just going to use good Pokemon. But I gave this guy an actual reply because I felt like he deserved one. I felt like he typed out a really good comment. So basically what I was talking about, we're going to see this more as we break a little bit more into this, is good players used to play with hidden power, gems, damage reduction, berries. That was like literally like half your team was built around those mechanics, right? When they took those mechanics away slowly or weakened their effectiveness, like they removed gems, they took away hidden power. Damage reduction berries are still there, but there's a lot more unnerve users. Berries in general, there's just better berries like Mago berries and Figgy berries, and citrus berries even better than it used to be. So what I said was the really, really good players, instead of like trying your best to theory craft a really unique hidden power or like defensive type to mitigate something, they'd figure out a way to weave an extra Intimidate in. Figure out a way to set up a screen. Figure out a way to use a stabbed move with a specific item or like helping hand boost to cover up for the fact that they couldn't hit that for super effective. Right? The really good players have understood how to not need those mechanics. Like Terra as a mechanic is going to give the casual population a big boost because it's going to let casual players play at the same level of high level players who don't need that mechanic to do well. Hopefully people understand that, right? Good players understand how to layer up helping hands, stat boosts, screens, intimidate, all those sort of things. They make it look a lot easier than it is at like a high level, compared to just like, herp derp, I'm an ice type now. Screw your dragons, you know? So that's my opinion. It's interesting. The interesting thing to me is that back in the day with HP, hidden power half the time, you had to do stuff like HP Flying Gyarados because you didn't have access to any decent stab moves. Now it's back to the flexibility of hidden power without having to use it on your boring stab due to move pool. Yeah, they're like, what is it? Hidden power Landorus, like top cut worlds one year because it was the only flying move that got to check Conkeldurr. So that's my opinion. I think the good players don't necessarily need a mechanic like this. Adding this mechanic, the good players already understand how to use it because we used it in the past. And new players that are coming to the game, they probably really attach themselves onto this because they think it's so cool. But like in reality, like most of the player base already knows how to use all this stuff. And again, feel free to let me know if that's just me saying, well, it's easy for me, so it should be easy for everyone. I don't think that's the case. I think that like if anyone took even a small amount of time to learn how to use those mechanics back in the day, they'd be, or even now, like looking back at how we used them back in the day, they'd be just as good as me or any other people that know how to use them. So let's see. The concept of terastallation seems to be Game Freak's way to encourage diversity and hopefully allow more than a handful of Pokemon to stand out. Without presence of a national dex and the hit or miss nature of regional variants, the gimmick hypothetically would allow any Pokemon with an adequate base stat total to carve out some niche for itself, regardless of its type or whether it's a mono or dual type. Every Pokemon in Paldea is now essentially a dual type of almost any type. You're correct. We're gonna get into this one in a sec. I'm gonna read this comment. I think it will make more Pokemon viable, but in a way that elevates most non-meta mons to a level close to meta mons that will use it. Plus, unlike every other gimmick, there are different ways to use it. You can use it defensively. You can use it to make your Pokemon a nuke with a double stab. You can use it to counter a specific mon that's popular in the meta, or one that your team really struggles with. And that's all correct. But like, that is not. That's Pokemon, right? Does that make sense? Like, how do I word this? That's not something to build your team around. That's not something to like say is some cool, crazy, big brain play. It's like, no, that's just the game. Like that's literally like someone was talking about earlier. They said they were playing on like a test server that has the mechanic implemented, and like almost all the time you're just using it to position a little bit better late game or secure a KO in the mid game. It's not this like thing that the whole game should be built around. It's just like helping secure win conditions. It's making the game just it's the same thing as like you know how you can open up your PC in anywhere in the game now? What's that called? Like ease of life type of thing. It's just making the game a little bit easier to play, right? You just have more options. When you Terra, you become only one type. Yeah. Quality of life. There we go. It's a quality of life change. Yeah. Thank you. Am I wrong? Like, do you guys think of it as a quality of life change? It gives you a few more options. Yeah, it makes some Pokemon more viable. But if you go all in on it, you're gonna lose. Or you might win, but you might win up to like a level to where like you're gonna cap your growth as a player. That's just my opinion. I'll take a sip of my coffee and we'll finish this guy. I was gonna call it slice of life. That's like an anime style. That's like a TV show style. Anyways, so this person put it really, really well. I think they did this really, really well. And this was the first person that I really copy pasted this and put it to. But I loved how they phrased it. And I said, like, why would I use a mon that needs Terra to be used when I could just use one that's already good? Right? I don't think that's this. No one's really given me an answer to this question. I've asked it a few times. Like, and even now that we're in chat, like, I don't really think anyone's given an answer either. I think this is just, that's Pokemon. Like, the strong Pokemon are used and the weak ones aren't used. It sucks, but that's the game, right? So, there's a metaphor about Terra being used like spices seasoning instead of the meat and potatoes. That's what I'm trying to highlight. Again, this is the same guy. So, because we don't prepare meals focused on the spice palette, we use the base. However, there are more spice combinations than protein choices, which is completely true, which grants us more creative freedom once we get to that stage. Case in point, like, you can take hamburger and turn it into Mexican food, Italian food, all the different other, like, hamburgers, you know? That's completely true, and that's a good way to put it. It's not going to change much, if anything, about our current formula. Kind of like what I was just talking about, like, that's Pokemon. It's a quality of life change. But I do believe it offers more utility than simply being compared to Hidden Power. The latter doesn't actually alter a Pokemon's attributes in any way. Regardless of how it's received, new toys are always fun to play with, especially when you have options. I love this person's comments. They kind of disagreed with me, and then I had a question, and then they said like a really, really good answer. And so like, this is how like discussion should go for things like this. Wise words is what I said. Like, I think they're 100% correct. Running Shedinja and holding Terra into late could be fun as a gimmick team. Run them out of whatever type their Terra is after. Shedinja's not in the game. Thank God. That would be stupid. Right? But yeah, I think they did a really, really, really good job. Saying Terra makes more mons viable because it boosts mons with bad types is like saying lefties makes more mons viable because it gives recovery to mons without it. Turns out you just put lefties on Blissey and now it never dies, right? That's the thing. Like, that's literally, that's it. I'm glad you put this on YouTube. I said I wasn't going to. I did. That's right. So now we're going to be getting into, like, ones where this is done 37 minutes ago. I've been streaming for over almost an hour now. So, like, I haven't got to these comments yet. So we'll talk about them on stream. I really like Terra since it's going to be focused on making one mon great like Dynamax. So, sorry, since it's not going to be focused on making one mon great. That's correct. 100% correct. I agree. All right. So this person, Alfred, say, appreciate the picture being taken. I definitely was one of those who were conditioned to think big Terramon and teams surrounding them. Definitely got to rethink. And again, that's the only thing. Even if, like, I'm wrong and Terra's crazy good, busted, whatever, this is getting someone to think outside the box and think for themselves. Yes, they're taking my idea, right? But the way that they apply that idea into rethinking their team building is going to build their own way to team build, their own way to play. It's just a rethink. Like, if they just blindly followed and said, like, okay, cool, now give me the best team, that's different. This person's thinking for themselves. They're changing the way that they're perceiving the new meta after hearing what I had to say. And that's what I like to hear. You know, that's what I like to hear. That comment reminds me of when Pachirisu won Worlds, saying it's no big deal, and the good comment seems like you're completely dismissing the possibility that some Pokemon may benefit amazingly. Side note, I agree with your take. I'm a huge fan, just being devil's advocate. So when Pachirisu won Worlds, Pachirisu's not a bad Pokemon. And if you thought Pachirisu was bad, well, we're going to be doing our redirection tier list right after this. But it's not bad. It's never been bad. Good ability, decent stats. One of the best moves in the game is on that Pokemon and basically no other Pokemon, right? Sejun Park also had been grinding with Pachirisu for like that whole year. You can go watch my videos. We played against Ladder all the time in 2014. Like, Pachirisu's not bad. See, just like how Butterfree is not bad. It's generally not perceived very good, but it has the tools and it can do things that no other Pokemon can. I'm not the type of person that says, you can't use this because Rillaboom and Incineroar exist. We talked about that earlier. Like, please, prove me wrong. Force a meta change. It's up to everyone to do that. Like, I'm not trying to say, use Landorus and Incineroar and win every game. Like, I know it sounds like that, but like, you can, if you think something's good, use it. Change. But like, when you're a random person on YouTube and you've been playing Pokemon for like 10 years and you say that X Pokemon's good and you've been using it the whole time, but you've never done anything, like you've never gotten any accomplishments with it, it's hard to believe you. Not you personally, but like anyone. Like I see all these people with comments like Scizor guy, right? He's like, Scizzor's gonna do all this stuff. It's like, okay, cool. What are your results? Why should I think that this is a valid opinion? And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm the guy that's being an elitist here. But I really think that like metas can change, formats can change, but good players can do good stuff with anything. And if good players have an eye for certain Pokemon they think are good, it's up to them to actually make other people think they're good, you know? The other challenge is that if there is there is one or more Mons who are otherwise meh, but otherwise boosted by Terra, you use them, that's great, but then you're signaling the Terra to your opponent and also not able to boost the good Mons in Amazing. Yeah, I agree. Who do you think looks cooler, looks-wise? I have no idea. I don't even think I've seen those things. The blue thing or the red thing? Probably the red thing. I like red, so... Anyways, let's continue going. So, actually, if every Pokemon can Terastallize, it's game-changing, but it's not. So, not really that important. Yeah, they're thinking, like, what if you could Terastallize every Mon, like 6 Mons a game? That'd be nuts. That'd be crazy. I really liked this comment. Do you think you'll be able to see an opponent's Terra type on Team Preview? Not a chance. Bro. I wanted this person to reply and be like, that's dumb. But, like, imagine... Dude, that would... I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but, like, that'd be funny, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about, like, Megas and stuff like that. You knew what was Mega, for the most part. You knew what was Z-Mood, for the most part. But, like, not knowing their Terra, that's the mechanic. And that's why I think the game would be better off even without it. Just because, like, it creates RNG where there doesn't need to be RNG. Like, we're going to take a look at Smogon. Smogon might keep Terra, I really think they might, but they also might get rid of it because it creates RNG, and people don't like losing to RNG. They like known ways to win, they like setting up hazards, and they like pinning. That's what Smogon's like built around, is that playstyle. Terra says, hey, you got me in a pin, but like, I have a 1 get out of jail free card, and people don't like losing to that stuff. So, yeah, it's just funny. It's like saying you can see a Pokemon ability pregame. I know, right? It's just funny. So this guy says, you wrong. It's a lot of damage and less weaknesses. Oh, okay, I mean, I guess that I'm wrong. I guess that this guy, Truth Warrior, human leader representative, he knows what he's talking about. I must be wrong. It's not like I haven't been playing this game for like 20 years. Battle gimmicks in Pokemon are not needed, especially after the toxicity of Dynamax. Well said. Sharktooth also leaves good comments. BDSP is pure. This person's talking about Zoroark with terrestrial or whatever. The fun bit is the potential for Terrell Zoroarks being able to trick players in new ways. Yeah, I talk about Zoroark. We're probably going to make a video about Zoroark soon. That's a whole other can of worms. Back in the day when Zoroark would use a Z move, it would show that it was Zoroark using the Z move. So that might be how Terra works with Zoroark, but I don't know. When is the full dex going to be known? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not up on that. Coming from Red and Blue, I 100% agree with this vid. Same thing. The OGs know. Jolteon HP Ice, like that was the cruise control for cool back in the day. It's gonna be back. Gonna use Terra, definitely gonna use Poison Terrazoric. That sounds good. That sounds like a good one. Oh hey, I got a bot. Report these. There we go. Literally a permanent berry. There we go. I'd rather not have Terra, to be honest. It was starting to put me off the game along with the unknown potential of being more like Pokemon Legends Arceus. My positions have since changed. Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, there's nothing wrong with the mechanic. I just generally think that I'd personally, if you were to ask me, rather not have it. I think that's fair to say. Like, I'm allowed to say that I would rather not have it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I just think the game... I think BDSP was just a better meta, that's all. How do you know it's a bot? Oh, they had, like, a link, and it was a bot. I get enough of them to see. Did you see, like, did you read it? If you go back in the stream and read it, you'll see it's a bot. Anyways, best gimmick was Mega Evolution. I wish they had just stayed there. Love G-Max Mons, but that is just OP Megas. Rip Mega Charizard X, Mega Sceptile. Yo, maybe they'll be back. Maybe they'll be back. Regilucky back to Terra Blast Ice your Landorus. I know, right? Never Lucky. Well, Landorus will just Terra Blast and Terralize into a Steel type. And then check the Lucky. Or a Fire type. And check you back. Alright. So this Ralph guy, they left some comments earlier. This is where I might end up looking like the asshole, and it's up to you guys that are still watching to call me out and let me know, hey, you were too hard, or you didn't really look at it from their side, or hey, you only looked at your side of the argument or something, right? So let me know if I'm being the asshole here. But this is the elephant in the room that people aren't talking about when it comes to this mechanic. And we'll see how this goes. So, gotta agree to disagree. This mechanic depends on your creativity. Note that they said creativity as a player. It is a different one for sure, but Terastallize won't be one mechanic that you can build a strict strategy over and copy paste it into 10,000 teams. It basically turns any mon into a Mega Lucario or allows players to counter for a specific meta spam or their own team's weaknesses. The hidden power plus gem argument is weak. I'm going to read their whole argument before talking about my thoughts on what their argument was. As this is severely stronger offensive-wise, introduces new mind games defensive-wise, and can force opponents to switch in if the Terastallize mon wasn't expected, gaining you turns to set up. That's why this is one of the gimmicks with the most potential, unless the competitive base waste it and start copying the same terrestrial Pokemon. That's the only downside in my opinion. BG says, this comment has some hits and misses. I agree, and we'll talk about it. Can we just have one chaotic gen where all the past gimmicks are in the same game? I think you can actually play that on Showdown. So let's just see what I said, and I think they replied back to me. All right, I haven't even read this reply back yet, so we'll read what I said. I said, so are you saying your brain is big enough to use the new mechanic and the general competitive player base won't? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, please correct me if I'm wrong, right? It sounds like that's what they're saying. They're saying, like, you know, the general player base, competitive player base, waste it and start copying same terrestrial Pokemon. This is meta. This is the game. This is being optimal. This is, people use the good things because they're good for a reason, right? So, again, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Like, if you think that, I'll just stop talking to them, because then there's just someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, right? But if I read that wrong, I wanted them to let me know. And so this is what I said. This was the elephant in the room I was talking about. Creativity means almost nothing at live events. This is like regionals, worlds, all the other terms like that. After round 1, maybe round 2, maybe round 3, all of the players have shared info on all the creative teams. So in trying to be creative, you're just digging yourself into a hole that a normal, more standard team wouldn't be stuck in, right? Case in point, I'm probably one of the more creative players that use gimmicks and other cool, fun teams at live events. And you know what happens? After like round 1 or round 2, all my opponents just kind of know what my sets are, because people talk, and games are streamed live at tournaments. Like, you know, when Wolf Glick plays on stream round 1, well, guess what? It's even harder for Wolf Glick to top cut that regional, which he still does, because everyone knows his items. Everyone knows his sets. Good players are able to analyze EV spreads from that situation. They know his lead options. It's really, really hard to be creative in an event. And so the elephant in the room that people aren't talking about is at tournaments, people will just share information on what your Terra is, right? And so if you think that, like, I'm going to be creative and I'm going to change the game and do all this cool calcs, do all the other stuff, and then they know that you're like HP Ghost T-Tar, like, it's going to suck for you when you try and do your cool thing and they punish it. And so, unlike Megas, right? Where Megas, where everyone kind of knew what, like, if you had a Kangaskhan on your team, that was Mega. Like, good players could just beat good players. Like, I don't know. This is what my problem with the mechanic is. I think it's a cool mechanic. I think it's less power creep incentive, or less power creep than other previous gens. But this is just my, like, my thought on it. Like, that's one of the reasons why I don't know if I'm going to go to regionals for this game. Because I would hate to build a team that featured really cool Terra stuff that I put a lot of time and work into, and have it just be like, they know what my Terra types are before the game even starts. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as, like, you know, as we continue to read the comments. But let me know what you guys think. Am I wrong? Also, I say that, like, I try my best not to share info with other players. Like, I usually go to regionals with Josh Diamond more than 5, and, like, we will let each other, like, take L's even if we know what the opponent's cheese is. Like, if he's playing someone I played in a round, previous round, or I'm playing someone that he played, the best thing we'll say is, like, watch out for that guy, you know? I think there's just a little bit of, like, on ladder it's different, but in tournaments, you know, you can't just create, like, a crazy team that beats everything, because people will just share information. In a tournament setting, if you have, like, 2 or 3 main Terra Pokemon, you can hide them better than you could for any other gimmick. Pokemon needs some anti-Terastallize. Again, maybe I'm the asshole because I expect the worst in people when you go to these things, but, like, the amount of time, effort, money, and work that it goes into going to an event, and then that shit happens, it's not fun, you know? So, let's see what they said. Because I haven't seen this reply yet, because I've been streaming the whole time. What I'm saying is that this gimmick allows for more creativity. I will agree with that. I will definitely agree with that. As you said at the beginning, in the previous gimmicks, the main influence on team building, and for what it seems, we all can set our minds be more free in that regard with Terra. Alright, I agree with that. We'd also need to see how Terra will be handled items-wise, because creativity will play a big role in the situation. Need you to go offensive or defense. So in short, no, I don't think I'm the biggest brain, but I do think that this gimmick will go hard. Sorry, so we'll hand in hand with strategies. I won't deny that it will have other stale side effects as for hyper offense gaining adaptability. Okay, I agree with what they're saying here, but I agree with what they're saying here. It does add more to creativity, but I do not think they're looking. They didn't answer any of this, so I agree with what they're saying. I agree with what they're saying here, and I will say that, like, I agree with what they're saying, but they didn't answer my question, and I'm not requiring them to answer my question either. If you have never been to tournaments, there's no way that you'd be able to answer it. Be interested, my country has locals. We only have 1 regional. Locals, I think, are disabled right now, but they might be back soon. What do you think will be more common to counter them? Trick Room, Fake Out, or Taunt? I think that, like, we're going to have to really, really check shit. I think a lot of the flowcharts we've been using up until now is like, all right, well, I can Fake Out pin this, or I can Intimidate pin that, or I can go Trick Room this, or redirect that. Those aren't going to hang as much anymore because we have that, like, Covert Cloak and other really, really defensive items. So I think, like, to stop Trick Room, you need Imprison. To stop Tailwind, you need Trick Room, right? To stop Fake Out, you need, like, Covert Cloak plus Redirection plus, like, maybe other switch-ins and stuff like that. Vector, how's it going? So, yeah, like, that's my idea. I think that's going to really make the flowcharts, like, very, very fine-tuned. Just the room for error opens up and allows enjoyable game instead of a sweeping DMAX. Sorry. Why don't tournaments just ban certain Pokemon to make things more interesting? They do. It's just it's different formats. Basically, every single year we get a new format. I'm honestly excited for Scarlet and Violet because without DMAX mons that weren't able to hang I'm going to assume you say, like, actually do well. Yes, I agree. Anyways, but yeah, I agree with them, but they didn't answer my question about this not holding up at regionals, and, like, you can't be creative at regionals. And if you can't be creative at regionals, where, like, the game is played at, like, the highest level, like, why be creative in the first place? Why make a team whose sole point is, like, making the perfect creative sets that can cover everything, wall everything, do all this stuff, if, like, you can't even do anything with it? Like, what's the point? You take it on the ladder? Like, if that's what all that you're gonna do with it, that's fine. And I'm not trying to say, like, that's fine, it's not for me. I'm not trying to patronize it, but, like, that's okay. But then I guess I'm asking, like, what would you do if you're someone in my position who does go to these events, or players that want to get into competitive actual tournaments? Like, what does it mean for them? So let's see. Alex Lee. My dreams of electric type Shinja holding air balloon. Not in the game. All right. We're going to look at this in just a moment. I like that I have a Dragon-type Pikachu now, so W. Draco Meteor Jirachi event coming in hot with that stab Draco Meteor. I'm excited for Draco Jirachi. All right, so this person says right here. We talked a little bit about this person earlier. I don't want to call this person out, and I don't want to give any slander against this person, so like don't do that. But this is the comment that made me like want to stream this because I just wanted to talk about it. So they say damage reduction berries are not the same as Terra typing into a completely new type defensively, making what was once a 4x super effective now hit for resisted. Not a fair comparison. Terra is better than berries. Hidden power is not the same as Terra Blast. Terra Blast is only the type you want while you're in Terra form. Hidden power was just IV based, so it could be slapped onto any Pokemon anytime. Not a fair comparison. So this person's not even like listening to my argument so far. Let's just keep going. The gems. Oh, come on, brother. You've been in a master long enough to know this is ridiculous. Gems don't even exist anymore. That's not the point. Not to mention, gems boosting a specific type. Typing A takes up your item slot. B only gives you a boost to that one type. And C can't stack more buffs on top the way Terra can. It's the same calc. The entire double dipping alone is more relevant. That you can double dip a gem. Stab fire. What? So you don't get a stab with your gem? What? Am I wrong? I don't think I'm the asshole here. Extra boost on top of usual buffs it would give. Not a fan of this one, buddy. Bad take. Okay, I understand that I've upset this person. I think the exact opposite. I think Terra will absolutely be something we plan around and play around this generation. I think you're completely incorrect with your assumption. So, let's just read what I said and we'll get back to what they said. I said, I guess that's why you're casually competitive and I'm a pro. I had to make the joke. That's their name. That's literally their name. I had to do it. I had to do it. I said it as a joke. I'm not trying to be an asshole here. In all honesty, I appreciate the feedback. We'll just have to wait and see. I wasn't even trying to fight with this person. Just let it go here. I'm not trying to pick a fight with this person. They came at me with this. And they say, they hit me with the, you're still human, capable of being wrong. Like, bro, like what? Like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, bruh. And that's when they hit me with the scissor thing. Showing their scissor thing that they copy pasted in like 3 other things. And I'm like, that's just never wrong. I'm wrong all the time. All the time. But, so, damage reduction berries. So saying that damage reduction berries aren't the same as Terra typing to be defensive, and that hidden power is not the same as gaining Terra Blast into a new type to have additional coverage, and gems not being able to give you a attack power boost. Saying that those aren't the same is like saying, how would I word this perfectly? That's like saying, Fruit Loops and Cheerios aren't the same. One's colored and one's plain. They're both cereal. This is the same mechanic. Reducing damage through the use of a mechanic and or item. Having additional coverage through the use of your mechanic or item. Having additional, like, being able to double dip on your stab and having additional moves based off your item or mechanic. That's the same thing. Right? Am I wrong? That's like saying, like, that's not the same. Fruit Loops are so much better than Cheerios. I didn't even say that gems, hidden power, and damage reductions were better. They're not better. They are incomplete versions, but they're the same idea. They're still cereal, right? Am I wrong? Let me know. You have to let me know if I'm the asshole here. What is that noise? Oh, I got an email. Anyways, but yeah, you have to let me know if I'm the asshole here, because that's how I see it. Like, of course damage reduction berries aren't as good. They're not. That it takes your item slot, like, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But it's the same idea. Having your team built after the fact and saying, like, man, I need just a little bit more coverage defensively for this. Well, if it was Terra, you'd make your Terra type to cover up for that, just like you would use a damage reduction berry. Man, I really wish I had coverage. I wish I had ice type coverage to check ground types. I guess I should probably make this Pokemon into an ice Terra. Just like hidden power with hidden power ice. Gems. And they're like, the whole thing about not being able to double dip your, like, stab plus fire Terra. Bro, you could stab an eruption and have a fire gem on it. I don't know. anyways, that comment, it ticked me off. And so that's why, like, again, you gotta remember, I didn't want to fight with them. I'm like, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Appreciate the feedback. And they're like, bruh. I don't know. So that was, so now that we've checked that out, and we know who this guy is, we're gonna go up to this comment. We don't entirely agree. We believe Terra will not be as impactful as some of the previous gimmicks. This is true, but in no way does this mean Terra is not something we play around, and plan out a team building phase of VGC. Again, I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying that you use it at the end. If you watch the video, you would realize that I said Terra's fine. It's a good mechanic. It's more balanced than Dynamax, and something you do at the end. I understand it was a long video. Maybe you didn't watch all that long, but like I said, do it at the end, don't do it at all. My comparisons don't hold water either. Gems aren't in the game anymore, so it's the exact same argument. And so I gotta seem like, why is it the same argument? And again, they even had the where is it? They only buff one type, Terra typing. They even have the same double dip, and so I thought this was weird. Just have to say, this you're playing Arceus and loving it. Amazing experience story-wise and mechanics. Great game to invite new players. I think Arceus was a lot of fun, and I'm probably going to replay it eventually too. I had a good time with it. But this person has the same argument. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Anyways, it was weird, right? And so I clicked on their page. I'm not going to click on their page now. And I'm like, you are just that same guy that was talking about Scizor. He's the same person. They just got on their alt or like their other channel or something. It says so on their profile. I think they're a companion channel. But like, and these are posted like right after each other. So like and it was like relatively after the video went live. And so I think it's really weird that like someone would like leave a comment, and the other casual competitive I left the same like Scizor copy paste and like a bunch of other things, voicing that like I'm incorrect, and then got on his alt account and did the same thing. They have a reply. So I'm sure this is our Pokemon podcast channel for members. Justin's one of us, but we all share his opinions about terraforms in context to your video. It's like, that's, why are you like, I don't understand. Again, I don't know anything about this channel. I really don't want to throw any shade. But like, they're linked in that channel. Like I said, the 4 members. And I guess that's why they said we so much, which was, I thought that was really weird. But like, I just don't understand how, I don't know. Tell me if I'm the asshole here. Because I'd like to know. This is the sort of thing that like, I wake up and I read these comments every day, right? So like, when I see enough people say that I'm like full of shit for just having my general idea. Remember, I made that Terra video to help people. People wanted to see it and they want to know my thoughts on it. And I thought I did a good job of phrasing it in a way that would help new players and existing players understand my more unique thoughts on the mechanic. And like, again, I didn't say that Terra was worse than all these other mechanics. I didn't say the other mechanics were better. I just compared them, you know. It's like Cheerios and Fruit Loops. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm taking it too seriously. That's the thing, you know? Heavy Slant Wailord. I guess people can't have an opinion. I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, that's really weird. Maybe I'm not any better, because, like, you know, I go on to my stream and I tell people that, like, you know, there's people being mean to me. I'm not going to say, like, don't get people to bandwagon hate people, but it kind of looks like that's what happened to me. I hope that I'm not trying to do the same thing. But it's just weird. Anyways, we're going to continue down here. Regional variants are a gimmick. What you're describing is a mechanic. And I think, like, this is a sort of thing to where, like, this is how you would handle that situation normally. I even Googled gimmick, and, like, gimmick says, like, in, like, Webster's, it was, like, something done for the sole purpose of like increasing notoriety or like pulling a fast one or something. And I was like, yeah, they're right. It's not like, if regional variants are a gimmick, judging by like Webster, because like the reason the regional variants are made is to sell merch, right? But that's just me. I don't think they're a gimmick. I don't think that they're wrong, but I know that I'm wrong in this one. Comments are too close together for them to have a conversation about it. I agree. Yeah. Hey, Jonas, how's it going? Have I watched any other players' videos on Terrestrial? What are your thoughts on those players' opinions? I don't watch Pokemon YouTube videos. So, like, I feel like I'm the asshole in that regard. Because, like, I try my best to keep my opinions to myself and the few people that, like, I team build with. And that's because, like, I don't want to be influenced personally. Like, I find myself, when I get really influenced by, like, other creators on, like, other platforms, I find myself making my content more like those creators, right? I see that stuff does well for them. I see things go well for them. And it's subconsciously, I end up being more like them. So, like, when I do, like, skateboarding, I start to skate like my friends. When I do, like, when I play tennis, I start to have very similar motions. I think that's natural human nature, is to, like, not, like, copy, but you blend in with the people you surround yourself with. And so whenever I've done that in the past and I've team builded, added new people into our team building groups, I tend to look at the game a lot more the way they do, and that really stunts my ability to look at the game the way that I look at the game, right? No one likes coming up with an idea, presenting it to the group, and being told it's a shit idea. You know, if you do that enough times, eventually, and then those people have results, you'll start to think your ideas are shit, right? But I didn't get my results by listening to other people, so I try my best to not watch other PokeTubers' thoughts on things. Miss the whole stream. It'll be here. And that's just my opinion. That's what works for me. It's worked over for me for the longest period of time. Is double forehand, one backhand weird? That's how I play a lot of the time. Are you sure you're not just, like, left-handed? Because that would be forehand doesn't mean right hand. I'm just right-handed. So that you might just be left-handed. You might just play tennis left-handed, which is also totally normal. But I use a one-hand backhand in tennis, which is a little bit antiquated by today's standards. Yeah, right there. The GOAT. My boy slacking. Let's go. Wise choice. Can you fake a Terastallize mon? You can, which is another reason why, like, everyone's like, this is going to break the game, this is going to change the game, this is going to change everything. It's like, is it though? You know? Is it though? Like, you can fake out it, you can redirect them, you can intimidate them, you can put screens up, you can put them to sleep. Like, their effect, Dynamax was broken because they doubled your stats, let you fire off the crazy moves, and they weren't affected by anything. You could encore these things, easy. Every gimmick is trash after Mega. I mean, they're not wrong. So I haven't got to these because, not all of these, because again, like, they've been 5 minutes ago, right? For me, the fun of Pokemon is the mental game and being tricky using moves like Encore, Disable, Thunder Wave, Wide Guard. G-Max took it all from me. This gen makes me play Gen 5 OU to feel well again. Yeah, this gen made me play Gen 5 OU to feel well again. Yeah, so, like, this person gets it. Like, this for me is Pokemon. Like, Encore, Disable, Thunder Wave, Wide Guards, other sort of, like, cool mechanics like that. That's what I like, you know? A good player will be able to beat a team that Terastallizes without even using their own. Yeah, I agree. I'm planning on using Hisuian Zor quite a lot when these games come out. I do too. It's going to be a really, really good Pokemon. I agree. You should work on, like, not using, like, so many, like, filler words, like, cool. Yeah, they're right. I suck at doing that. And that's one of the things, like, my videos aren't usually scripted, and that was an especially bad one. I think I said in my reply, like, I'm really, really bad at that one. What existed before Mega? Gems. Gems were there before Megas. But yeah, it was really bad. People said they want to see it. That's why I uploaded it. Yeah. This person said L. I said thanks. First. I've always thought, like, I'm like, thank you, man. I care that they said first. But it's always weird. That's always the mechanic. So anyways, that was the video. Those were the comments. Let me know if you guys think that I was the asshole. I like Callie. I would put Callie there. I don't think Zacian... Zacian's not as good in Series 12, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, let me know if you guys think I'm the asshole. I really like to think that when I make these discussion videos, if I can be proved wrong, that's great. I literally learned something. But saying that I'm wrong, and then, like, the facts that you state aren't right, and then you never really address, like, what I talked about, that doesn't make me feel like you listened to me at all. And I listened to what they said, you know? I feel it's not the argument doesn't go both ways, you know?